I've known my ex, Alice, for around 15 years. During that time, we tried dating 3 separate times, and somehow managed to break up 5 times total. The first was when we were just 12 and 13, then again at 17 and 18, and finally we gave it another shot in 2018. That very first relationship barely lasted 2 months. At the time, I was completely at fault for ending it. I was too young, too overwhelmed by how affectionate Alice was, and I couldn't handle the amount of attention she needed from me every day. Instead of being honest, I sent her a breakup text. I was just a dumb kid back then, selfish, careless, and willing to hurt someone I really liked simply because I couldn't manage my own feelings. When we tried again at 17, I was once more entirely to blame. I was struggling at home, barely had any independence, and was broke most of the time. Instead of opening up to Alice about what I was going through, I'd flake on her, ignore her, or just stand her up. One night we went to a club, and in a moment of stupidity, I kissed another girl while Alice was right there. Her best friend saw it, told her, and the two of them left immediately. A few days later, Alice still wanted to try to work things out, but I broke up with her anyway. My excuse was that she deserved someone who was stable, independent, and not a complete jerk. By that point, I had already shattered the heart of the girl I loved, not once, but twice. Later, I found out Alice had kissed one of my close friends earlier in our relationship, and neither of them ever planned to tell me. It was only when that friend saw how badly I was struggling with the breakup that he confessed. After the second time things ended, I couldn't bring myself to commit to anyone else. For years, I focused on fixing myself, working through moral conflicts, trying to reconcile cultural and religious beliefs, and figuring out the kind of values I actually wanted to live by. After about 5 years, I felt like I was finally in a place where I could commit again. I had a few situationships here and there, but I never really let myself fall into a real relationship. That changed in 2018 when Alice and I reconnected after almost 7 years with almost no contact. The moment I saw her again, everything I used to feel for her came rushing back. This time, I felt proud of the man I had become. My values were strong, I was more grounded, and I was ready to give her the relationship she deserved. But things didn't go the way I had pictured. By the end of 2019, I knew I needed to break up with her, not because I was the same reckless boy who kept hurting her, but because I finally realized I deserved better than how she was treating me. I won't go into every detail of what Alice did, because that would take away from the main point. What I will say is that she broke my heart over and over until I finally had to walk away for the sake of my own peace of mind and mental health. Leaving her wasn't simple, though. I second-guessed myself constantly, doubted my own judgment, and went through cycles of denial. That back and forth dragged on so badly that I actually ended things with her 3 separate times in the span of 2 months, all instigated by me. Fast forward to this year, 6 months after that breakup, we started talking again. I asked her directly if she was seeing anyone, and she swore there wasn't. We kept talking more and more, eventually meeting in person, and before long, we were slipping back into old patterns. Our conversations grew frequent, more emotional, and even intimate. But a few weeks ago, I started noticing her words and actions didn't match up. Something felt off, like she was hiding something. When I finally confronted her about whether we were exclusive, she assured me that we were. Still, I pressed her, and after going in circles for a while, she admitted there were 2 other guys she'd been talking to. I'll call them John and James. She said things with James were a little more serious, but insisted I was the one she really wanted. She promised to cut them off, but I told her straight I wasn't going to restart anything with her while she had other guys in the picture. Last weekend, we met up in person again, and things started to get physical. We ended up just cuddling and talking, and I asked her to prove she'd cut ties with John and James by showing me her phone. That's when everything unraveled. It turned out there was another man in the picture altogether, someone she'd been seeing since February. I'll call him Mark. Alice and Mark were in a full-blown serious relationship. Things had escalated so quickly between them that they were already talking about getting engaged, meeting each other's families, and even planning a wedding once he returned from overseas. He'd been out of the country for about 5 months, but according to Alice, the plan was to marry him as soon as he came back. Getting all of this information out of her was like pulling teeth. She lied through every question I asked, twisted the story, and even tried to convince me she and Mark weren't really together, that they were just pretending. But the truth was written all over her actions, and I finally saw her for who she was. For reasons I'd rather not spell out here, I started to notice cracks in Alice's story. Little by little, word by word, her lies unraveled until the truth came out in fragments, and I was able to piece everything together. She claimed she only lied because I was upset, but that wasn't true. I had asked her to be honest with me long before I ever got angry. The funny part is, I didn't even know Mark existed at that point, so I didn't have anything to be mad about in the first place. Eventually, she admitted that she never planned on telling me about Mark at all. Her intention, she said, was to quietly ease him out of her life if she and I got back together. To me, that just made the last 3 months feel like one long deception. The whole time, she had a boyfriend and deliberately lied when I asked her directly if there was anyone else. I told her I needed to know the truth so I could either step aside and let her move on, or decide if it was worth trying again. She looked me in the eye and swore there was no one else. That kind of dishonesty makes me wonder if I can ever believe another word she says. And yet, here I am, still wanting to make things work with her. The problem is, I need openness and honesty, 2 things she struggles with. On top of that, she tends to make everything about herself, twisting situations until she comes off as the victim. Alice says she feels like I push her away. She points to all the times I broke up with her in the past, saying it left her constantly afraid I'll leave again on a whim. She insists that her insecurity and fear are what drive her to lie, that she'd rather fabricate the truth to keep me than be honest and risk losing me. Here's where things get messy. Alice swears I'm the one she wants, but at the same time, she can't seem to let Mark go. She admits they were in love, and even now, 3 days after all this came out, they're still talking. She insists the affection is fading and she's slowly breaking things off, but I don't believe her. From my perspective, she's running 2 parallel relationships, trying to decide which man she actually wants. She refuses to be transparent about her conversations with Mark, telling me I should just trust her. But that's not enough for me. I've told her I need something concrete, screenshots of their messages, or even a direct conversation with Mark, just some kind of proof that things are truly over. Without that, her words feel empty. To make matters more complicated, we live about 33 miles apart, which is roughly a half-hour drive one way. That distance means we don't see each other often, and every meeting requires planning. It makes everything harder, especially when trust is already broken. Update, I'm 26M, and my ex, also 26F, says she ended things with Mark. She claims they're no longer in touch, though from what I can tell, their contact is limited rather than non-existent. She told me she confessed everything to him, that she and I had been reconnecting, getting close again, and even being physically intimate. She swears their relationship is over and that from now on she's determined to be transparent, trustworthy, and different. But I've made it clear, I need evidence. Screenshots of their breakup, a message exchange where she cuts ties, or even letting me talk to Mark myself. I'm not demanding one specific thing, just something solid to back up her words. Alice, however, refuses. She says she won't provide screenshots, won't let me reach out to him, and won't come up with any other proof. Her argument is that she wants me to trust her word alone. Instead, she offers me unlimited access to her phone, saying she won't hide anything from me going forward. If she were to contact him again, she says, I'd find out immediately. She insists this is how she'd want to handle things if the roles were reversed. But I don't see it the same way. For me, trust doesn't just rebuild itself on promises. And so, we're stuck. I feel like I can't move forward without real proof that she's done with him, and she feels like she can't move forward if I need that proof. To her, if I can't take her word on this, then there's no future for us. Edit, Alice's side. Alice has said the only reason she won't let me go through her phone or talk to Mark is because she believes it wouldn't stop there. She's not hiding anything, according to her, but she's scared this would spiral into a cycle of constant suspicion. She admits she broke my trust and doesn't have a healthy way to fix it yet. She suggested she needs time to work through her guilt and figure out a way to rebuild things, but I told her that wasn't enough for me. She says she feels awful about what happened and knows she caused this situation, but she's still searching for a way to repair the damage without destroying what little foundation we might still have. Rebuilding trust once it's broken is hard, and she says she's open to any healthy solutions that could make this work. Alice once told me she had all the evidence I'd ever asked for, but her hesitation said it all. Her biggest fear was, what happens after I show him this? Is that the ultimate solution? She even admitted she felt like a terrible person for treating her love life like some twisted game of The Bachelorette with unsuspecting contestants. She called herself selfish, and honestly, she was right. Well, Reddit, you were right too. Alice and I can't make this work. She's still a liar, still manipulative, still deceitful, and most importantly, she can't let Mark go. I don't even know where to begin. After my last post, I shared it with Alice and let her add her perspective. We ended up talking on the phone, and she agreed to come over the next day, Tuesday. For a little context, I had recently moved closer to work, so we weren't 33 miles apart anymore. Now, it was maybe half that distance. On Tuesday morning, she came by in an Uber before noon. The night before, we'd talked about the comments on my post, and she admitted she had been wrong to refuse transparency. From that conversation, it sounded like she was coming over so we could sit down, clear the air, and finally resolve everything. She had even written in her edit that she had all the evidence I'd asked for, so I was expecting to finally see it. Long story short, that's not how it went. While we were sitting together, holding each other, she started opening up about how she had always held my mistakes at 13 and 17 over my head. She told me it meant a lot to her that I'd taken responsibility and apologized. She said she forgave me. That part felt good, like maybe we were finally on the same page. But then she let more slip. She admitted that things between her and Mark hadn't changed at all, no matter what she had claimed earlier. My radar instantly went off, but I kept quiet to let her talk. She explained that she had been trying to break things off with him using excuses like the long-distance situation not working, but Mark never accepted them. Every time she tried, he'd push back or find a way to dismiss her reasoning. According to her, this back and forth had been going on for weeks. That's when I asked her directly if Mark knew about us, about the fact we were reconnecting emotionally, becoming intimate again, and even talking about getting back together. Most importantly, I asked if she had told him she wanted to break up. Her answer was a flat no. And there it was. She had been lying to me again. There was no evidence to show, because she hadn't told him anything. I was furious. I told her the only way we could move forward was if she told Mark the truth right then and there, in front of me. She hesitated but started drafting a message, even asking me to help write it. Like a fool, I agreed. But when the message was finished, she completely froze. She couldn't bring herself to send it. For 2 hours, we went back and forth, her trying to compromise and me refusing to budge. Eventually, I got so frustrated I left the apartment for a quick errand. When I came back, she had packed up all her things. She was already gone, waiting for the elevator, phone pressed to her ear talking to a friend. When I asked if she was leaving, she didn't respond. I went back inside for a bit, came out again, and she was gone. I called her 5 times within half an hour, she hung up every time. Eventually, she texted saying she needed space, at least for the night. That moment hit me like a freight train. It felt like someone had ripped a hole through my chest. Still, I knew Tuesday had to happen. It was the breaking point I needed to finally move on. I blocked and deleted Alice from everything, social media, WhatsApp, even here. It hurt like hell, but I knew I couldn't keep doing this to myself. The very next morning, though, I woke up to a chat request on my real Reddit account. It was Alice on a new account, asking to talk. Against my better judgment, I unblocked her on WhatsApp. She sent screenshots, messages between her and Mark where she told him she had cheated. She also included screenshots of voice and phone calls she'd had with him on the Uber ride home after leaving my place. Her explanation was that she couldn't talk to him honestly while I was there, so she waited until she was alone. I told her straight, the screenshots weren't conclusive. They didn't show the whole truth. She hadn't told him about us planning to get back together, about how close we had become, or about wanting to leave him. That's when she admitted she never planned to. She said Mark had been cheated on before in another long-distance relationship, and it destroyed him. Even from the screenshots, I could see how badly he took it. He said it gave him PTSD. But despite all of that, Mark seemed ready to forgive her, as long as she didn't repeat it. Talking to Alice after that, it became obvious. She was leaving herself a backdoor open room to see if things with Mark could work out down the road after she worked on herself. With him, there wasn't years of baggage. With him, it was easier. With me, the history was heavy and painful. And with that, I finally let it go. I wished her well, told her I hoped she'd find whatever happiness she was chasing, and blocked her again on everything. For me, this chapter is closed. I'll take the time to heal, focus on myself, and try to find peace. I'm heartbroken, but I'll be okay. To Alice, if you're reading this, I truly hope you find happiness and health moving forward. Goodbye.